Hey everyone, Soundwave84 here with a Transformers review, and in this review I'll be taking a look at Transformers Cyberverse Warrior Class Decepticon Shockwave. And these are Warrior Class, and that is pretty much what Warrior Class was in the Robots in Disguise line. It is a deluxe class figure, in size anyway. Now it's here next to Power the Prime's Swoop. Articulation, this bad boy, what you're going to get out of the arms is shoulders out to here on both sides, and it is the joint here for this movement is a snap joint. I don't know how else to call it. It's not necessarily a hinge, there's no pin, there's no ball joint. It's one of the ones that, you know, it's got like two little knobs and they pop in on each side and it fits. That's pretty much what this is. So it will pop out, and I'm afraid with the thin plastic here that if you pop it out and have to pop back in repeatedly, you're going to wear out that plastic, you're going to stress that plastic, and it's going to become even more loose, and eventually the arm just won't stay in. That's just a fear, and this is probably one of my biggest complaints of this figure. The articulation of the shoulder is this right here, is on a mushroom peg, and so you get the full 360. And that's on both arms. Elbows, you have a ball jointed elbows, so the movement is a 360 all the way around. There is no bicep swivel. The swivel is contained within the ball joint of the elbow. Now of course he has his cannon on one hand and his hand on the other hand. There is no wrist swivel or nothing. The hand just stays out even when he transforms. If you look at him from behind, you will just see his fist. So yeah. Now the cannon does move, but that is for transformation. It will fold. Now the artwork shows him with his G1-esque hose, but the toy sadly does not have that, or it could be a good thing, however you want to look at it. Waist swivel is non-existent. It is not there. You cannot do anything. He does have thigh swivels though, and that is mainly for transformation. He does have his hips out to here, and both my copies on both legs, his left leg is looser. When you start going down, let me get it back in focus. At a certain point, there's a point of no return, and you just go whoop. My other one on his right leg. There. So it's a little bit tighter. There are ways to fix that kind of problem. It's not really a ball joint. It might actually be a snap-on joint too. I have not tested that, and I really don't want to test that. He does have knee bends, and there is a deep knee bend. As you see, I'll go all the way up and kick his back if this backpack wasn't in the way. So, yeah. And his feet do move as for transformation, and it's just forwards and back. And they do kind of lock in. I don't know if you can hear that on camera. And that's pretty much all his movement. Another big disappointment on this figure is his head. There is no neck. There's no ball joint. His head is fixated to the point where it's at. So if you wanted to pose him to the side with his gun pointed out, and you want him to look over at somebody, you will not be able to do this because his head is fixated to look straight ahead. He'll never, ever turn his head. You see is this molded in. Focus. And it looks like I got a little bit of stress on my plastic already, and this is how the figure came. And you see it's kind of two shades of purple. Arms are lighter. Torso is a little bit darker. As the torso is more solid, whereas these are just hollow bits. Ears do move on here, so you can get kind of emotion out of it maybe if you wanted to do that, but that's mainly for transformation. So overall, the look of the figure is very nice. I do like him head on. He looks like a very nice figure. His feet, so he actually looks like he has feet. From all angles, he's not bad. The back is just the hollowness in here, but that his big, huge clown feet have to go somewhere, so they go in there. Now these have action features. He has an attack cannon, which is called his attack feature, sorry, and it's called his wave cannon. So what you want to do is just grab it here, because these things on the sides are going to pop out, and you just want to pull it up to his front. As you see, these things will pop out, and then as you get it all the way up, you stay forward. So now he has his action feature of his wave cannon, so he can wave cannon you plus hand cannon you. Yeah. Well, that's a neat little thing for kids. Like I said, this line and cartoons more aimed at the kids, and this is an action feature for the kids to have some playability with. Now you just fold it back, and it goes in. As you can see here, there's a hinge for transformation. You see this, but there's a tab here, and that gets in this little channel. So when you pop them all the way up, it pushes the tab all the way back. So we'll take more look at that in his other mode. And what is the other mode, might you ask? Oh, let's take a look at that. That is his other mode. I don't know what you want to call that. You call it a Cybertronian walker, a bug walker, a spider walker, a crab. I don't know what you want to call this thing. But this is what he transforms into. So, it's not very impressive. I'll give you that. I mean, they couldn't do the gun, I guess, but he doesn't look realistic, so he would look like a toy laser gun. But they went this route, so yeah. And we'll get him into that mode, and we'll lower the camera back down slightly. Alright, now to give him that mode, what? Stop doing the splits, dude. Alright, first things first, I'm going to push his ears back. Let's get that out of the way. Now I'm going to raise his arms all the way up to the sky so he can point straight up. Woohoo! Yay! And focus him. I'm going to take this little chest piece and it goes up over his head. That's why you have to move his ears, otherwise it will hit the ears. See? And now he will just look at the bottom. He'll just look at the ground as he walks. Focus camera. Right. Now take his arms at the elbow ball joint, and you just want to spin them all the way around. Do them both sides. And while you're doing that one, it's probably the first thing I really should have done is just fold his cannon into his arm. Like so. There's a little notch in the plastic here, which his cannon sort of just goes into. Okay. Then you want to take them at the thigh swivels. Swivel his thighs all the way around, and it'll look like this on the other side. And you can see there's like matching bits, so you can just line them up. Take his feet, fold it into his leg. So you got him like this. Do the ball joints here first on his arms. Just fold his arms down like this. Then take him at the knee and just bring him down. Now you take his wave cannon, and on the hinge here, you just want to hinge it to the middle of his back. You'll hear a little lock sound, snapping sound. And there you go. That is Shockwave in his Cybertronian bug walker mode. General Grievous. That's what my wife said. When she first saw this, my wife said, that reminds me of General Grievous. So, you know, when he bends over backwards, whatever, and he runs away. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's nice that she kind of made that comparison. And you can induce his wave cannon, but only one of the waves will come out. You just move this little thing back, and you back and forth. More like a beat up stick. You know, if someone comes around and he doesn't stay out. It's like, you know, like. Now, as a alt mode, it's, you know, crap. I don't really care for it very much, but yeah, it's there. It's something. But soak it in. Soak it in. At least he. All right, transform him back to robot mode. I'm just going to stand him up, fold out his feet, thigh thigh swivel, wave cannon there, this down, ears up, arms spun around at the shoulder, spin Rooney the elbows back around, and pull out his hand cannon. Not too far. I think I might have snapped that out. There we go, I did. Alright. And there is Shockwave. And yes, I'm going to tell you the plastic here is so thin that if you do put a light behind it, it does shine through. So I don't really have a way of showing you that at the moment, but yes, you can. Alright, overall, it's a good mold, I think, for Shockwave. He does have a lot of paint, I would say. Surprisingly, a lot of paint for what I figured this figure would have. He's got this pink paint here. All of his arms on his wave cannon stuff. He's got, this is paint here, this little silver, and there's some black inside. So he's got, his eyes paint, I believe the black around his eyes paint. So he's got a decent amount of paint, more paint than I thought this figure would come with. Not in this painted. Articulation is decent on this figure. Okay, the biggest problem with this toy is probably you're going to have is his head does not rotate or move at all. It is just fixed there. Can you see this Shockwave? What's up? How many fingers I got up? How many fingers? No, you can't turn. Use your peripheral. That's probably one of the biggest problems. Also, the quality. I want to say quality of plastic. The quality they use for the joints. The joints here, yeah, I just figured they could have done something better than what they did. It's going to pop out a lot. The plastic is very thin, and that's probably the biggest complaints on this figure. If they're going to spend more money, I would say, creating the War for Cybertron line, which does look pretty good, and spend more of their efforts and money making those molds for more articulation, maybe a little bit thicker plastic, maybe not as hollow, then it's well worth, I think, this, because this is mostly for kids. They're not going to, a 6-year-old is not going to care as much about all the intricacies, I would think anyway, that a collector who would want to pose his figures would want. Now as a kid, G1s, a lot of those are bricks. A lot of their heads didn't turn. A lot of their wrists didn't swivel. Some didn't have knee bends. Some of their legs were just stuck together. You couldn't do anything. So this figure is still more poseable than a G1 toy. Now the plastic quality is not there probably. So it's a trade-off for $15. Is it worth it? Honestly, no. So I'd say this feels more like it should be like $8 at most, $8 to $10. So the plastic on this, if you have the Cyber Battalion Shockwave from Walgreens, that's the quality of plastic. That's how the plastic feels on this figure. And this one just has a little bit more articulation, but he is smaller. So yeah. Overall, like I said, I don't feel it's worth it. But if the trade-off is for better Generations figures for the War for Cybertron line and Siege ones, then I'm all for this. 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, they're just going to play with it. They're going to be rough with it. They're just going to throw it around, and so they're not going to care. Like I said, I think, in my opinion, as much as an adult collector would who want to pose figures. Now, for a kid who's probably going to throw this around, the arms are going to be popping off a heck of a lot. So yeah, that's probably not good though. Overall, a decent mold for Shockwave. As a recommended purchase for a collector, no. For a kid, yes. Anyway, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Till the next one. Peace out.